Don't forget who your real enemy is. It's interesting how Paul starts this off. He says, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. And what he's telling us is that people are not our enemy. How easily do we forget that? You know, this is not an observation. He's not saying, well, you wrestle not against flesh and blood. I've watched you. You're not wrestling against flesh and blood. Are you kidding me? You're terrible at this. We're all terrible at this. It's instructional. He's saying, look, we don't wrestle against flesh and blood. Hello? You're following this, right? He's instructing us, and yet we get so caught up in this. We get so trapped in this whole thing where we begin to fight with one another. You know what's funny when you look at Jesus? Jesus never made people his enemy. I want you to think about this. Did Jesus ever treat the Romans like they were his enemy? Never once. Did he treat the sinners like they were his enemies? No. The tax collectors like he was, even Judas, the guy who betrayed him, and he knew he was going to betray him. He said, one of you is going to betray you, and I know which one. And he never treated him with contempt. He always treated him as his friend. And he said to him, this thing you're going to do, Judas, do it quickly. He knew it was coming. And yet the whole time he treated him as a friend. He didn't even the Pharisees, he didn't treat them nearly as bad as sometimes we think. You know, it says one time that the power of God was there to heal the Pharisees, but because of their unbelief, nobody got healed. He was even willing to heal the Pharisees. And so when we look at Jesus in action, he wasn't like us. See, here's the mistake we make. We think our boss is our enemy, our spouse is our enemy, our neighbor is our enemy, our government's our enemy. And we have made a big mistake because once we get our focus off the true enemy, we actually fall prey of Satan. I'm going to talk about that in a moment.